All right, 678 Radio Graffiti.
Hello.
Yeah, what's going on, man?
Hey, this is Stephen Cannon here from Broken Trinity.
Whoa, wait, we got the Stephen Cannon from Broken Trinity. Are you serious?
Right here in the flesh, man.
Wow, man. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but there's a lot of people that listen to my broadcast that are big fans of yours, especially a guy named Derwicking. I don't know if you're familiar with that guy.
Oh, yeah, I just did his podcast last night, man. Very gracious host, man. I just want to say to everybody out there, I'm very grateful for all the support. I'm just kind of overwhelmed, man. I've been doing a music magazine for 30 years and put Broken Trinity together about 3 or 4 years ago, and I'm just overwhelmed, man. I didn't know there were so many people out there digging what I've been doing. I've just been kind of a lone wolf for 30 years, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think people in the community here have not only donated your music to be, played on the air, but there's been people that have actually bought shirts. I mean, they're, you've been kind of making the rounds out here, so to speak, man. I mean, aside from you being obviously somebody who is in a band, Broken Trinity, I've gotten well acquainted with your work through the fans of this show. Is it true that you have not only had the band, but you've had this magazine for about 30 years in which you interviewed personally the names of like Peter Steele and I think you may have interviewed the Ramones or something, like big time names. Is that true?
Well, to a degree. I never interviewed Peter Steele, but I interviewed Josh Silva and Kenny from Typo Negative. Never did the Ramones, but we've interviewed Cannibal Corpse. We've interviewed Morbid Angel. We actually interviewed Quorthon from Bathory quite a few years before he passed. That was an interesting interview. He dispelled a lot of rumors that had been flying around. But yeah, man, I mean, I've been doing Vibrations of Doom for 30 years, and we incorporated Doom Radio about 16 years after the fact. So we've been just kind of, kicking it around, man. It's been a rough thing trying to keep it going. I mean, after 30 years, I didn't make one thin dime, but, the love of the metal obviously was kind of why I got into it. And, there's a lot of bands out there that most people in the U.S. aren't even clued to. And that's just, kind of a sad state of affairs for the music industry as a whole.
You're damn right. I mean, I try to promote metal as much as I can on this broadcast, and people try to donate a lot of metal because we got to keep that music alive. There was an actual article that was written here recently that was a study based upon the high income earners of America actually are metal listeners. So if you actually have listened to metal, you are more likely to be a higher income earner based upon this particular study, believe it or not. So, I mean, I think metal, we need to bring it back. I think the energy, the inspiration that it creates, the drive, the ambition, I miss it. I mean, look, we got Billie Eilish, and all this other garbage nowadays. We need some metal, and we need to resurrect it as fast as possible.
Well, metal's always been there. I mean, people thought that grunge and rap killed metal, but it really just kind of went back underground where it came from. And, in 30 years, you've seen 3 generations of cycles. And Jeff Cirilla from Abdullah put it best. He said, well, the parents of the kids that listen to metal, they didn't want to really listen to what their parents were listening to, so they got into stuff. And, of course, when they had kids, the kids are going, well, damn, man, what was really good music? Because I don't like the grunge and rap stuff. And they kind of look back at the 80s, bands like Testament, Overkill, Venom, Slayer, Hallows Eve, who I did a stint with for a while, and metal's really never going to die, but, you're right. It's up to us guys to keep working it and supporting it. And, the kids will pick up on it, because the internet's there now. And, back when I was doing the music magazine, you didn't have places to go where you could listen to all this 80s metal stuff. And that's why we started the classic album section with Iron Angel's Hellish Crossfire. And that was really why I started that, because I wanted people to hear this. I mean, there's just so much music that European collectors got into my hands, and I'm just going, why the fuck isn't anybody talking about this? It was just, it was crazy to me that, and I always looked at my site as being a European site. I never thought, I always thought that this should have been a European site, because the Europeans are way more fanatical about metal, and they have been for the last 30 years. I mean, just look at the Wochenfest or, the Hellfest even, and you see all these bands that were in the 80s headlining the stage. I mean, it's pretty obvious,
Yeah, I was unaware that you were catering more to the European fan, but you're absolutely correct. That's why every metal band in America always does a European tour and is out there for a good portion of their tour year because of the markets out there.
Well, I got to say the bias towards American metal isn't because there aren't any good metal bands. In fact, for those of you who might be interested, I'd say that Callid & Brood is probably one of the most important American black metal bands in the last 20 years, because they basically took the template that Summoning did, for their first 10 years, and they just kind of ran with it, did epic clean choir vocals, and believe it or not, the next set of Broken Trinity material is going to be incorporating, elements of like tribal black metal, like Summoning and Callid & Brood, because there's not a whole lot of people doing. I mean, shit, there's very few people that are actually doing black and doom metal, except for maybe Dark Flight from Bulgaria, and I'm probably biased for mentioning them because I did clean vocals on half their last record, The Hereafter. So, but it's even 10 or 15 years after Dark Flight started, there's still not a whole lot of bands doing what them and us are doing. So I'd like to think we're trying to bring something new to the table.
Yeah, I think that you are. I mean, you guys are obviously, kind of, coming up as far as like this this new founding of fans that, they introduced you to me, or me to you, or vice versa, whatever it is. And
yeah, both ways, man, both ways.
And I think that it's great, and I think that, the success of you and the success of Broken Trinity, I think, is about to hit, a little bit of an upswing. And I hope nothing but the best for you guys. Go ahead. What's that?
No, I just want to thank everybody out there, because I see a lot of people in the chat that were part of the podcast last night, and just thanks a lot, man. I mean, I've been in the business 30 years, and I've seen all the big band people and how arrogant they get, like Axl Rose, coming late to his own shows, and it's like, man, we're just regular dudes, man. There's nothing really very special about us, except for the fact that we all have a shit ton of years in the metal scene. But I mean, even still, I mean, that's nothing great either. It's just people just doing what we do, and I'm just so grateful that there's people. I mean, I tell you, I almost killed Vibrations of Doom because I kept wondering, well, who's following it? Who even cares? And to see this, it just blows my mind that there's people that have been following us for I don't know how many years. I mean, like I said, Vibrations of Doom is for 95% of its life been a one-man operation. And it's just because I couldn't rely on anybody else. And look, dude, we got deadlines. Well, I don't need I need shit done, and that's just how it is.
Yeah, I completely understand, man. And let me tell you, the impact in what you have done is now reverberating as far as I'm concerned, because, Broken Trinity, and I've been hearing your name for the past several months, and we've heard some of your stuff. Obviously, you can hear the 80s influence. You can hear the influence of ones like Judas Priest and that type of vocal. So do you think that you could probably compare yourself to that era, and then you're specifically trying to kind of resurrect that era of metal?
Well, what we're really trying to do is resurrect the old school style of doom metal that Black Sabbath started in the United Kingdom and Pentagram started here in the United States. It's just kind of funny. People talk about Sabbath more than Pentagram, but Pentagram started back in 1971, about the same time that Black Sabbath did. I'll give Monkey's uncle a shout out for mentioning Candlemass and the other guy that mentioned Rotting Christ. But Candlemass was one of my vocal influences as far as the operatic, clean singing style. And, even among bands that say, oh, we mix black and doom metal, you don't hear any of them singing. And that's kind of where we thought, maybe we need to bring in some things. We were going to put the thrash influences there, but of course we're heavily influenced by the Norwegian style of black metal, like Mayhem, Satyricon, Hellhammer, Gorgoroth, Emperor, and stuff like that. That's just what we wanted to do. We just wanted to mix the true, and of course, we're all kind of like Vikings in a way. So, I got the Nordic thing going on there. I'm heavily into the Norse gods. I consider myself an awesome true warrior. And it's just, doom metal is one of those genres of music that's amazingly proficient. Like, 90% of the doom metal stuff that I get to hear, I really dig, because it's just, it's quality. It's just real good quality. And we're just trying to do the best we can to blend the two styles, as good as we can, and, maybe throw some thrash in there just for the hell of it. Because I grew up on the 80s thrash. I grew up on Venom and Exodus and Slayer, and, I did a stint with Hallows Eve for a while, and that's just kind of where my heart and my head's at.
Well, man, I think everybody out there who's listening, I think we got about 500 people listening live and probably a bunch of people in the archive. Where could they find you if they want to listen to you, they want to buy some merch, or if they want to find out more about what you're doing, man? What do you where can they go? Where can they find you?
Well, we have a Bandcamp page. We have a Facebook page. We've got a SoundCloud page. We got the Broken Trinity Bandcamp page. The first show that we ever performed as a three-piece is on YouTube. So live at the 529 venue in Atlanta. That was our very first show. Of course, we had to use a drum machine. We didn't have a drummer back then, but it kind of lended a certain atmosphere to it, I thought. But we still prefer to have a live drummer. We're actually reconfiguring right now and everything, so we're trying to get everything back in the swing of things. We were actually in a comic book series called Death Metal Kids, and we wrote a track called Oblivious to Decay, and that's where that came from. We were actually supposed to fly out to Texas and play his comic release party. We also had 3 headlining shows here, but the COVID kind of shut everything down, and that kind of did a number on everybody, I think.
It absolutely did. It absolutely did. And that's a shame. That's a shame, but all they have to do is search those social media for Broken Trinity.
Yeah, pretty much. We've got some new music coming out. We've got an album's worth of material written on, and we're coming out with an EP tentatively titled Odin Places Wall Street Bets, where the Vikings basically charge on Wall Street and whatnot. It's kind of a different twist. We wanted to do something different, so that's kind of what we're working on. We got some new stuff coming out, an EP, and like I said, the album, hopefully we're going to get out pretty soon, because I know there's been a ton of people asking about that.
Well, all right, man, I got to get on with the show, but I mean, it's an honor to meet you, to talk to you. I'm glad that you're able to kind of promote your stuff out there. Broken Trinity, this is Steve Cannon in the flesh, man. 30 years, hard rocking, metal, no BS. Props to you, man. You want to give a shout out to anybody or anything?
Yeah, man, I want to thank Peppermint somebody who got a hold of me. I just want to thank everybody out there for keeping metal going. This isn't about me. This is really about all of us, and all the people that supported me in the past. I'm not sure where Vibrations of Doom is going for the next 10 or 20, but we're probably going to resurrect the radio shows. I did some stuff for ACRN, the Anti-Conformist Radio Network. That's Sean Morrissey, our guitar player, who is right now the only original member of Broken Trinity besides myself left. And he's also got a project called Sonic Armada. Somebody was asking about industrial metal. So you guys might want to check out Sonic Armada, SONIQARMADA. And they're actually out on the road and playing some shows in Texas. We've got a show to make up in Savannah, and we got a lot of plans going, man. Metal's it's a fun thing to do, and I've always supported it, and I probably will support it until I'm in the ground. So thank you very much for having me on. Very much. I see you get a lot of shit comments from people.
Yeah, that's just the internet. That's the internet, man. The internet is a piece of trash sometimes, but it's all good, man.
It is. Well, it's how people find things. So I just hope everybody out there is having a good time, and no hate, no drama. Let's all get together and support the music and support each other, man, because nobody leaves this world alive. So
you're damn right, man. Cheers to you, sir, and thank you for calling up, and it's been an honor, man.
Thanks, man. You too. Have a good one.
All right. Thank you very much. All right.